Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning. Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning to you. And many more, and many more, and many more. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. It is season 15, episode 21, and today is Monday Motivation. It's also National Poetry Month, so we're going to be reading a couple of poems today, hopefully to get you reflecting. We will not be doing our talk back today because I have got some repairs to get done. So I am going to cut this broadcast very, very short. All right, so let's get into the mindset that we need for this Monday. And I'm down in my library today. You all don't really often get a chance to see this this part of my life. But I was a school librarian for about 5 years, and I was a librarian assistant and a library research assistant for about almost 3 years. So I have a lot of background in that regard. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So let's jump right to it. All right. Today's first motivation is coming from Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbrough. And the topic is learn how to say I can. Again, learn how to say I can. And good morning to those of you who are coming in. Pastor Ben, if you would be so gracious as to monitor comments today, if you see anything that's inappropriate, just delete it. Teddy Pendergrass, singer and spokesman for the physically challenged, had this to say: I know I'm going to make it in spite of my handicap. I will not be a prisoner of the chair. I know what I can do. Thank you for stopping in. I can, wrote the historian Charles Wesley, who dared to tell the world that the black man had a history of note. I can, whispered Olympian Wyomia Tyus, who became the first person to capture gold medals in the 100-meter race in 2 consecutive Olympic Games. I can, thought Jewel Plummer Cobb, who was destined to make a name for herself in science and education. I can, shouted Jack Johnson, who dreamed of being the first black man to wear the belt of world's heavyweight champion. No one has ever received, gained, or accomplished anything in life without saying the two powerful words, I can. The statement, I can, is not future promise, but an affirmation of what we choose to create now. This principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate and one who sees himself as a victim of uncontrollable forces. As I learn more about success and achievement, it often occurs to me that you and I are living far beneath our power as persons and our possibilities as inhabitants of this great planet. Not enough of us say, I can. We can be at least 10 times more powerful, at least 10 times more bountiful and wonderful, at least 10 times happier and freer and stronger than we are. We can be 10 times more active, more alive, more spiritual, more faithful, more godlike than we are. Studies have revealed that we use less than 10% of our mental capacity, and likewise, we use less than 10% of our creative capacity. The only way to gain this unlimited happiness and potential is to learn how to say, I can. So I encourage you to do it every day. Believe in two simple words: I can. All right, we're going to our next devotional. And as I said, we're going to be very brief today because I do have some in house repairs I have to take care of. This one is coming from Meditations for Black Women. I really, as I said, like this particular devotional because really, even though they're talking specifically to Black women, the words here can really empower anyone. Rihanna, singer, actor, and businesswoman, said this: "If you don't live your life, then who will? I must learn to live my life for me and nobody else." Living for yourself and nobody else is an act of self liberation. Really think about the quote provided in this meditation and ask yourself, who am I living for? Me or somebody else? Sometimes we don't even know that we are living for other people, that somebody else in question could be your family, societal standards, or followers on social media. If you feel like this might be you, then it is time for you to start prioritizing your desires or dreams. Choosing to live for yourself is a form of resistance in a world that's constantly trying to force Black women to live according to some societal standard. Standards that don't either serve a purpose other than to make someone who doesn't live up to it feel bad about the pace of their life. The truth is, your life's timeline is perfect because it's your life's timeline. No matter how slow or fast, you are moving in your different stages of life, whether that be career or marriage or parenthood. It's nobody else's business but you and your creators, really. You are the one who gets to decide what you want to do with your life, and no one should make you doubt or second guess the essence of your life. Pastor Ben, we got thank you. Okay, all right, thank you. You are the one who gets to decide what you want to do with your life, and no one should make you doubt or second guess the essence of your life. To embark on this empowering journey of self discovery to living for yourself, it is essential that you learn the importance of validating yourself. Yes, it is okay to get forms of external validation through people and things, but you must be able to affirm yourself. You can do this by actively challenging any thoughts of self doubt or low self worth. All in all, when you start prioritizing your needs, you honor your authentic self and your wellness journey. And I am a witness to this, that when you start prioritizing your needs, everything else starts to align with your life. People who are supposed to be in your life, they actually show up. And the people who are not supposed to be in your life, well, they find the door themselves oftentimes and make their own exit. Sometimes you don't have to dismiss anybody. Just begin to align your life with where you're supposed to be. So here's an action step for today. Ask yourself, am I living for myself or am I living for somebody else? I want you to reflect on this and think about ways you can either begin or continue to live for yourself. And finally, let's get to some poetry today. And good morning, Lady Shantae. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This poetry is coming from African American poetry, 250 years of struggle and song. And I've been trying to get through some of this weekend, but I wanted to show and share with you two poems. One thing I like about this is it is broken up into sections sort of by centuries, I would say. This section that I'm reading out of today is called Bury Me in a Free Land. And this poem is written by Joseph Seaman Cotter Jr. And it's called And What Shall You Say? Good morning. And what shall you say? Brother, come. and let us go unto our God. And when we stand before him, I shall say, Lord, I do not hate, I am hated. I scourge no one, I am scourged. I covet no lands, my lands are coveted. I mock no peoples, my people are mocked. And brother, what shall you say? Very short, but very potent. Very short, but very potent. And the second poem I wanted to read, make sure I have the author of this one. The author is Louis Grandison Alexander, and it's called Negro Woman. The sky hangs heavy tonight like the hair of a Negro woman. The scars of the moon are curved like the wrinkles on the brow of a Negro woman. The stars twinkle tonight like the glaze in a Negro woman's eyes, drinking the tears set flowing by an aging hurt gnawing at her heart. The earth trembles tonight like the quiver of a Negro woman's eyelids cupping tears. Pretty, pretty, pretty powerful. Now, I want to go into, let's see, I want to read one more. Hmm. This one is written, and I want to make sure I'm in the right section here. This one is made it to the contemporary section of the poem book. And this is actually someone that I really admire her poetry. Um, she's actually commented on a couple of things that I've written, which I find to be an honor. Her name is Honoree Fanon Jeffers. You probably have heard of her. And this one is called The Gospel of Barbecue for Alvester James. Long after it was necessary, Uncle Vess ate the leavings off the hog, doused them with vinegar sauce. He ate chewy abominations. Then came high pressure. Then came the little pills. Then came the doctor who stole Vess's second sight, a predication of pig's blood every fourth Sunday. Then came the stillness of barn earth no more, trembling at his step. Then came the end of the rib, but before his eyes clouded, Uncle Vess wrote down the Gospel of Barbecue. Chapter 1. Somebody got to die at something at some time or another. Chapter 2. Don't ever trust white folk to cook your meat until it's done to the bone. Chapter 3. December is the best time for hog killing. The meat won't spoil as quick. Screams and blood freeze over before they hit the air. Chapter 4, verse 1. Great Grandma Mandy used to say food you was whipped for taste the best. Chapter 4, verse 2. Old Master knew to lock the ham bacon chops away quick, or the enslaved would rob him blind. He knew a padlock to the smokehouse was best to prevent stealing, but even the sorriest of the enslaved would risk a beating for a full belly. So Christmas time he gave his nasty leftovers to the well-behaved. The head, ears, snout, tail, fat back, chitlins, feet, ribs. He thought gratitude made a good seasoning. Chapter 5. Unclean means dirty. Means filthy, means underwear worn too. Long in the summertime heat. Perfectly good food can't be no sin. Maybe the little bit of meat on ribs makes for lean eating. Maybe the pink flesh is tasteless until you add onions, garlic, black pepper, tomatoes, soured apple cider, but survival ain't never been no crime against nature or maker. See, stay alive. In the meantime, laugh a little harder, go on, and gnaw that bone clean. an ode to a family member. This poem is by, well, I won't necessarily say it's a poem, but more of a short essay by Adrian Mateka from The Big Smoke. Cannibalism. Colors were here before these United States were even dreamed of. We've always been on this land. That's why I don't bother about what Booker T. Washington says. I'm a pure-blooded American of the first rate, and I don't need to cast down a bucket unless there's no indoor toilet. After the great storm hit, the Times called us black ghouls, cannibals eating coloreds and whites like Sunday chicken. They said we left babies in the street just so we could take a man's shoes. They said we sawed off fingers at the fat meat for rings. I was there, so I know what's true. Whole families of coloreds were shot down by the whites. Protecting the dead, the sheriff said, sending buckshot at any colored person in sight. Those dead people didn't need any more protection than the mud and rocks covering them. After that storm moved through, me and the other Galveston boys slept where we could, spent our days searching for anybody alive. We got paid whiskey and potatoes. We found unalive mothers and sons, and cats, and skulls, cracked like teacups under the wet wood and rock. That's all the storm left. And last poem for today. Khadija Queen. I want to not have to write another word about who the cops keep killing. So at first I wanted to make another video and I thought I could do it on the weekend or after work, but motherhood and overtime, and then I got to image hunting and name searching, and each name led to another name and the people, and I wept again and I got angry again, and I got the fancy microphone to read June Jordan's poem about my rights and played with filters and GarageBand and thought about going for a walk in the almost dark and having my teenager film me in a flowered dress and a sun hat walking barefoot by the creek and grazing summer sunflowers with my fingertips like a wistful movie intro or a tampon commercial. But then I get up and I hurt everywhere. My body aches. I feel heavy. As the sun goes down, I realize I don't have time to make the kind of video I want to make because I have to get up at 5:30 a.m. to start work, and I want to not feel this pain everywhere, and I want to not be so tired. I can't move, but fibromyalgia exists, and even though it reminds me of grief, what does any of this whining have to do with Michael Brown when my beautiful brown boy is laughing in the room down the hall, eating caramel gelato and not cleaning his room? And I want to not think about my dead brother every time the police kill another of us, and then get to pose in front of flags and lie to cameras like the truth don't keep in blood, and they keep their guns and keep their public salaries and keep killing people we love. And when I think that, I cry again, because I want to not cry, because I actually hate crying, because none of my tears can offer resurrection, none of my poems can offer resurrection, none of my image searches can offer resurrection, and I want us to stay alive. Khadija Queen. I hope I've given you something to think about on this, over here, rainy Monday. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. Thank you today for your time and attention. We'll be back with Black Table Talk on tomorrow. Hopefully we will do a full broadcast. But thank you for your time and attention today. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be light. The world needs what you have, and only you can offer it. Take care, and God bless.